Glad to have you back. Genetic modified organisms, otherwise known as GMOs, are engineered to resist pests, tolerate harsh climates, and improve nutritional content, potentially boosting food production and security in Nigeria. Experts argue that GMOs can significantly increase crop yields, reduce reliance on chemical pesticides, and provide more nutritional foods. GMOs offer a way to improve crop resilience against pests and diseases, which are major issues for Nigerian farmers. Agricultural scientists say by enhancing the nutritional content of crops like maize and cassava, malnutrition can also be tackled. However, the use of GMOs is not without controversies, as critics raise concerns about the potential health risk, environmental impact, and the socio-economic consequences for smallholder farmers. Genetic modified organisms, otherwise known as GMOs, have been the subject of debate worldwide, and Nigeria is no exception. So joining me to explore more on this topic today, on the benefits, potential benefits and concerns, is Mr. Abayomi Monilari, President, Ondo State Farmers Congress. You're welcome on business today.
Thank you, Mandrisha.
Thank you very much. It's good to have you. Like I said, to start with, Mr. Monilari, let's understand what GMOs are. Like I said in my intro, it helps in so many areas. And why are they often considered in discussions around that has to do with food security in Nigeria?
Thank you. You know, when we talk of GMO, this is a new species of seed. They are being produced by scientists. Most of this, the GMO is being produced, especially in the lab. They are not naturally grown. But, you know, by doing that, they have reasons for doing all these things. You know, when you are going to business, you must have a reason, whatever you want to lay your hand upon. You know, the white men, they like making things easier for themselves, not minding the consequence, not minding the effect. But this time around, when we talk of the GMO we are talking of is hazardous to Africa, in the sense that the moment we think about it, we accept it, we'll be losing our seed.
Obviously, we're still going to talk about the impact, probably the effects of GMO. But now let's look at anytime we talk about food security, we also considered GMO as a way out. Why is it so?
Yes, because when you think of food security and GMO, you know, GMO is a means of producing more than enough. The seed we do better, produce better. And when talking of harvesting, you know, you harvest more. You understand? For example, when you talk of all this means, the number of seed, the quantity to be produced from 1 hectare differs from the normal seed we'll be making use of. So it improves production. It increases production. And like when you talk of, when it's come to livestock, you see within a short period, all these animals must have gotten to the table size. You are spending less to produce and gaining more. But everything has adverse effect.
Okay, let's now talk about, I know you've mentioned some of the positive impacts of based on food security, and obviously it has its own potential benefits. So while we are talking about benefits, there are also concerns, like you said the other time. So let's look at some concerns and challenges arising from the adoption of GMOs. So what are some of the main challenges and risks associated with the use of GMOs in Nigeria?
When you talk of GMO, if a farmer goes into it, you will realize that your existing seeds, you will definitely lose them. Because when you plant a GMO seed in an area, it will dominate all the seeds in that vicinity, in that area. And at the end of the day, you won't be able to reserve any seed after harvesting, because the seed of GMO cannot be preserved for the next planting. You need to fall back, to go back to the original owner to always get this seed from them. And those are the natural seed that you have in that vicinity will be damaged. It's just like where you have a popcorn pop maize in an area and you plant the real maize there, it will dominate over that. From there, it will eliminate it. When you talk of this GMO, by the time you plant it in an area, it is not only that farm, all these farms in that area will be taken over because they have that potential, the power. Though it's going to give you more yield, you are going to make more money, but at the same time, you are losing what you have. By the time you do that, next time you go back to them to buy the seed. And peradventure, if they refuse to sell seed to you, what are you going to plant? So it has some effect. And when you talk of the health benefit also, it is hazardous to us here. Because if we are thinking of the benefit, the food security aspect of it, that we are going to get enough food within a short period, we should also think of the people consuming this food. You know, it has been banned in a lot of countries. Then they are now facing Africa because they know Africa is a dumping ground. Even the people that brought it out, it's not being used in their country. Russia rejected it. Germany rejected it. Saudi Arabia rejected it. Poland, Hungary, and many other things. Australia, they all rejected it. I didn't mean it's a good seed. It is a good plan. They will have accepted it. You know, the white men, we always want the best for themselves. And if it is good, they won't allow it to come to Africa. So, to me, we should not accept it. We should think about the future of our seeds. We should think about the future of agribusiness. We should think about the future, our health in this country.
Okay, for us now, for a layman who don't know what a GMO is, who doesn't recognize the seed even in the market. So, what are the seeds that's commonly associated with GMO?
For example, we have some maize now, and by the time you plant this maize, they will tell you they are it's written already. They are genetically modified. So by the time you see that they are genetically modified, it's better you do away with it. Because at the end of the day, though you make more money, but you may lose your existing seeds.
Okay, let's now look at the end products now. Now talking about the end users. Like we have GMO tomato now in markets, or probably for someone like me who don't know, after the effects, after the production, it won't be written again while it's been taken to the market. So how do I recognize a GMO's produce?
And that is one of the problems why we said it should be banned from coming in. Though it produces better, it is bigger, it looks very attractive, but the moment it comes in, not everybody will be able to know it. Not everybody will be able to say precisely this is a GMO product. You understand? A hungry man is an angry man. They will just go there, buy whatever they want to buy, not minding, not taking of how it's being produced. So it's better we don't allow it at all. Because the moment it's being allowed into the country, you won't know the difference. Because it may not be perfect the way it's being done over there, here. So we may not get it right. What I'm saying is that even the size, it may not get to the size that it used to be over there. So we will still think that it is part of our previous crops or seeds. So it's better we don't allow it at all.
Okay, the other time you talk about the fact that when it's being planted in an area, it's overgrown every other plant in that area. So how can we balance this in such a way that even if GMOs produce is being crop is being planted in a particular area, it will balance it with the traditional practice, you know? It won't affect the normal crops. One will affect each other.
There's no way if they are planted in the same location that it will not. It will. It will not only affect that crop, it also affect the land. That land that is being planted, it will also affect it. So if at all we want to, they should go on separate ways. It should have to be separate entities, different locations. But to me, I believe it's better we don't accept it at all, rather than accepting it and regretting it in the next future.
Okay, so how can we now ensure a sustainable and secure food system without GMO?
Yes, the government has a lot to do. By the time, like Mexico, the president banned anything related to GMO, and that it should not come into that country. And they've been doing well, but they put more money. They invested more into agriculture. They encourage farmers more. All the required things needed for production were given to the farmers. In a GMO, you know, if I'm to use the size of this room for production, it will give me confidence that I'm making money, because it's a small it's a small area of land, but at the same time giving me great yield. But the other way around, the old seeds being practiced, being used, you needed the traditional way of you needed more land. But if all things be equal, if we have the necessary things like the organic fertilizers, if you use organic fertilizer and the land is well prepared, we will still make it. All that is needed is for the government to encourage the farmers, to encourage whoever is interested in farming. You know, and by the time we have more people doing it, we are going to be sufficient in food production. Those are the things the government needs to do, by encouraging the farmers, giving them a good yield. We should have our own seed production farm. We should have our own seed farm. By the time we have that, we'll be assured of the seed coming out from our farm, and we know how to go about it. You know, many times, even the climate, our own climate differs from theirs. It has some effect on the seed being brought to the country from foreign countries. So, if we want to do it, we should have our own seed production farm here, so that from there we know what we are producing, we know what the farmers are buying, and we know what we are consuming.
Right. If you're just joining us, the program is Business Today, and we are taking a look at the role of GMOs and risk involved in Nigeria's food security. And my guest has been Mr. Abayomi Monilari, President, Ondo State Farmers Congress. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, business news continues. Please don't go away. Glad to have you back. And we, like I said before we went on that break, we've been taking a look at the role of GMOs and the risk involved in Nigeria's food security. And my guest has been the president of Ondo State Farmers Congress, and he is Mr. Abayomi Monilari. Okay, let's talking about farmers in Ondo State. What has been presently, even in Ondo State is not an exception. There is scarcity of food, everything, when you get to the market today, by tomorrow, you can't get the same price tomorrow. What is your association doing to ensure there is food in the land?
Thank you. Really, our association, we are doing a lot. to ensure that we have enough food to consume in this part of the state. But there are some factors militating against all this. We know about insecurity. It's there. Even when the farmers produce, our market women too, their own problem is the biggest problem. Because there was a time the governor of the state gave out maize to livestock farmers so that the price of these food items can come down, so that we can use it to crash it down, which the farmers did. From there, they made sure that farm gate price of egg is 3,000, 3,002, and those people, they should not sell above 3,500. We met them, we solicited for their support, they accepted. They will buy for 3,000 from the farm gate, but before we need, we learned they are selling for 4,500. They are making more than enough, more than what the farmers are making. So the problems, you know, it is a compounded problem, I will say. Insecurity gives problems. The market women there are giving us problems. Those chemicals we are using, majority of them are fake, adulterated ones. So by the time where you ought to use 1 liter and you are using 2-3 liters, it will affect the cost of your production. Not that alone, we don't have enough farm implements to do all these things. But the farmers are trying all means possible to make sure they are in business and to also make sure that people in the state are being fed with whatever they produce. So we'll be encouraging not only our farmers, everybody to go into urban farming. The little area you have in your house, the little land, farm there. And if you know it has been, maybe there are concrete there, you can use tires, you can use sack bag and so on. Fill it with soil and plant.
The way of conventional
yes.
farming.
Yes, you do it. By that time, you'll be reducing your the amount you are spending on food. So we are ready. We are much ready to go to farm to do our business in as much as the insecurity has been checkmate. Because just about 5 days ago, 2 of our farmers were kidnapped at the Karo area in Ondo on their farm. And we have similar experiences all over. So insecurity is one of the problems facing farmers. That is the major problem facing farmers.
Okay, going forward now, what would be your conclusion and what would be your plea to policymakers, government of Ondo State, and to farmers out there?
Well, we appreciate the effort of the present governor of Ondo State. Really, to him, if it is possible for a bag of tomato or a basket of tomato to be purchased for 2,000, that is what he is clamoring for. But other factors are there. So we are still telling the state government to please look into some areas whereby it can assist the farmers in producing more. And the farmers, I'm also using this medium to tell them that they are to feed the nation, like our slogan, and they should be prepared to feed the nation and make sure that the cost of production, the cost of food items comes down, because we people in the society, they are all our families. So we should do everything possible. And when it's come to policy making, the issue of the GMO, I think government should do away with it. And let's focus.
Okay, finally, in one word, is there any sanction for any, retailer that's trying to, jeopardize the efforts of your efforts and that of government? You talk about taking dividend.
We cannot take the law into our hands until we are able to meet with the government, and the government, we should come together and bring forth a policy to sanction whoever jeopardizes this idea.
Okay, Mr. Monilari, thank you for your valuable insights on today's program. It is clear that GMO is not really good for us in this part of the world, and we want to sincerely appreciate you for talking about benefits and the risk involved as it has to do with food production in Nigeria. And that's the size of the show today. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in, and we want to say next week is another time, God's willing. And I am Omoshilola Adesoya Ajayi. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.